Hi guys, Mike Reviews It All. Hitting up the MMA world again. Let's jump right into it. Conor McGregor's next fight, as I had predicted, it looks like it's going to be against Nate Diaz in the trilogy. I'm super excited about that fight. A lot of people think that after Conor's boxing training against Floyd Mayweather, that's going to really help him in that third fight. We also seen Conor have some cardio issues again, though, and that's something that Nate's never had. What weight will this be at? Will it be at 155? Will it be at 170? Nate can comfortably fight at any weight, so I don't think the weight was ever an issue. He's always fought better at lighter weights. They both fought above their prime fighting weights, so I think that was kind of null and void and kind of an excuse for Conor losing that first fight when his cardio just failed him. I'm not surprised his cardio failed him against Mayweather, because that just wasn't enough time to get ready for a 36-minute boxing match, and the fact that his cardio was so good at the pace that he set was actually pretty amazing. Is that newfound skill in boxing going to be too much for Nate Diaz to handle, though? Nate Diaz has been a great boxer in MMA, one of the best MMA boxers in the sport. He knows how to do those range. He knows Conor McGregor's strengths and weaknesses now. Conor hasn't been working on as many takedowns. Let's think about that. He's been stuck in this boxing world. Maybe his boxing's got a little bit better. In my mind, Nate Diaz's boxing was better before, when they fought before in the past. He didn't have the power of Conor. Conor has, he has like Paul Malignaggi has. He has grown man power. He has, if you're talking about a scale of power, you're going to put Conor on a 7 or 8, and Nate's probably a 5 or 6. He's a quantity punching guy. I mean, not to say that he can't knock people out, because he definitely can. He can definitely hurt them and get them into those submissions and stuff, but everybody knows he doesn't have the same power as Conor, that one punch power at least. Will Nate Diaz practice and train with Floyd Mayweather, though? Nate Diaz was seen in Floyd Mayweather's dressing room celebrating after the fight. It had been rumored that Nate was going to come down to the ring with Floyd Mayweather. He did not, but Nate was there that whole night. He made it no secret who he was going for. He was on Team Mayweather. So that could really re-spark that rivalry between him and McGregor. They had seemed to have mended a few fences, at least respectfully, as far as mutually respecting each other as fighters. But that's the big money fight, at least as far as MMA is. I think Conor McGregor fights Nate Diaz in their trilogy match. If he wins the fight, he definitely goes to boxing, fights Paul Malignaggi in Boston, or somewhere with a lot of Irish crowd on St. Patrick's Day. They've already discussed that date. Even Paul Malignaggi is the one who threw it out there. That's a gimme money fight. That's a gimme $50 million for Conor, if not more. I don't know how much he's going to get for this one. Obviously, Nate's going to want a lot more money too than he has gotten for a lot of his past fights. They're each 1-1, and who wins this thing? I don't know. It kind of depends on where it's at, but it's really hard to bet against either one of these guys. It's hard to bet against Conor right now. His confidence is through the roof. It's really hard to bet against Nate, though. He does a lot of things that counter Conor McGregor. He seems to deal with that awkward style much better than anyone has in the past. He has his own weird angles. I'm going for Nate Diaz in this fight, but that's a personal preference. I like both of them. I'd like to see Nate Diaz get a few paydays before he retires. These guys getting punched in their head the whole time, their whole life. I want them to have something to show for it and hopefully get out before they have brain damage. So I'd like to see Nate Diaz, if he wins this fight, maybe he fights Paul Malignaggi, or I think if he fights a boxing match. I think eventually he'll fight a boxing match and he'll probably get some big money out of it. But I think that is definitely the fight. It is not signed yet, but all things point to a third match between Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor happening soon. I would say probably November. Could even be late October, but probably November, because that sets up the timing correctly for the Palmo and Aji fight for St. Paddy's Day for March 17th. And Conor McGregor has that ability, like a lot of people don't, to look past an opponent as far as the date is and planning his future, but to be totally obsessed with that opponent in his training camp. And Nate Diaz is just an incredibly skilled dude, on the ground, on the feet. If he can get Conor to the ground, like I said, if Conor slips a little bit on his takedown defense, this could be that could be trouble for him. And we could see something similar to what happened in the first fight. He's also been training that boxing endurance. I think endurance is just going to be a question for Conor for a long time until he proves differently. Nate's always had one of the best defenses in the sport. And one of the things is he's not going for that knockout in the first round. It's really, really hard to keep up that, not just the pace and intensity, but the viciousness and the power that Conor McGregor throws his punches with, the weight and energy that he puts behind everything, from the beginning almost to the end of the fight. I will say he does that like I've not seen a lot of people do. Most people are going to burn out if you go in with that kind of pace at those weights. We're not talking about Demetrius Johnson, who's 125 pounds. We're talking about a Cain Velasquez, heavyweight. And that guy, he doesn't fight that style, but his cardio is just off the charts. Maybe Conor needs to do some running, some jump roping and stuff. That's why boxers do all that stuff. Training in high elevations. I know the guy's a I know the guy's a workout freak. He's obsessed. He's always working. Maybe he's got some asthma issues. I'm not sure. There's a lot of things you could speculate on as to why that is, but I'm just happy that I think this fight's going to be signed. I'm really looking forward to Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor 3, and in my mind, sorry Irish, go Diaz. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to another episode. I really hope you guys all have a great week, and tell me what you think about this fight. Please like and subscribe. Please put your comments down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I really want to know what you think, the fans. I love MMA fight fans, and I'll see you in the next video.